What's up, y'all? Welcome back to DL Peck Fishing. In today's video, we're going to talk about forward-facing sonar, not how you think. Okay, put the brakes on it. We've beat forward-facing sonar to death. I very much understand that. We know that forward-facing sonar is the biggest game changer in fishing. But for this video, what we're going to be talking about, discussing is Team Trail Outdoors, which is a local tournament trail here in Texas, very popular, has announced some rule changes that are, getting a little bit of press, I think in a good way. And before we talk about that new rule change, I'm gonna play this video for you guys to kind of get you up to speed. So it's not just coming from me, it's actually coming directly from the director and the chief guy over at Texas Team Trail, Donnie. I'm gonna play his video of his announcement. It's been about a week or two ago since he announced this. I just want to get, I wanted everything to just settle down. I didn't want to just jump in the mix and get in a discussion yet. I wanted to see what the feedback and things like that was looking like. So let me go ahead and just play this video for you guys, get you up to speed on what's actually going on, and then we'll pull back in and discuss it. All right, so this is TTO's page, Team Trail Outdoors. And let's see, got this page on Instagram queued up for you guys. So let's find the video, the original post from a couple weeks ago.
I've been listening to all the debates, in regards to the forward-facing sonar, and man, there's people that's all for it, there's people that's all against it, and there's people that are just kind of in the middle of the debate, and don't really care what we do with it. I've spoken to tournament directors across the state, and we don't have the answer. We just don't have the answer for what's the best to do with this thing. All we know is that tournament participation is down across the state, and it's even though there's no factual data that says that live scope is the reason for it, tournament participation is pretty low across the board. To me, I think it goes a little bit beyond tournament participation. I think it goes, all the way down to tackle sales and manufacturing. I think forward-facing sonar has affected that. And, for TTO, we have some of the best payouts in the state, or at least I feel we do. And we rely on our partners to be able to partner up with us to help us pay out the guaranteed monies that we're blessed to have. And if tackle sales are down, to me, it's just hard for them guys to justify, spending that additional money just to not get anything in return. ROI is what it's all about in partnerships. And we greatly appreciate that. We love all of our partners to death. So, I think it's unfair to keep live scope. I think it's unfair to keep live scope because some of the guys that are against it, or all of the guys that are against it, they may not be tech savvy enough to just fully understand and be successful with it. They may not have the time to go out and watch a screen for days in and days out to be able to try to catch a bass with it. And it might just be priced completely out of their budget, but at the same time, they spent so many years learning bass behavior and the science of catching bass. And, they feel that they're at a big disadvantage in a tournament because they can't use them skills and be able to compete with the guys that do have it. I think it would be unfair to ban it. I think it would be unfair to ban it because, the guys that have had the time to go out and learn this unit and be successful with it and I think it's taken away from them. And it's not saying that they're not good anglers and that's the only way that they can catch a fish, but it's it's not. They're good fishermen, and I think taking it away from them guys is totally unfair as well. I've spent a lot of time and energy trying to figure out a solution for Team Trail Outdoors, and because I want to be fair, I don't want to be biased. I just want to be, I want anyone that pays an entry fee to my tournament to have the opportunity to take home a $20,000 check at every event. So my rule, I realize that some guys are not going to like my rule, some are not going to agree with it, but I still feel that it's unbiased, and I think it's a good solution. And so what we're going to do is in 2026, Team Trail Outdoors rules will read that you will be able to use forward-facing sonar, but you cannot turn your forward-facing sonar unit on until you have a 5-fish limit of bass in your live wells. Once you catch your 5-fish limit, then you can turn the unit on and you can keep it on for the remaining hours of that tournament. You're allowed to use the forward-facing sonar during practice, and you just cannot turn it on until you have 5 fish in the boat. The way that I will police this is I will give 3 polygraphs at every award, at every tournament. I will always polygraph the winner like we've always done, and I will do 2 random polygraphs throughout the field. And it'll probably be the guys that are in the money. There'll be 2 random polygraphs for that. Now, guys, I want to appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch my video, and please feel free to leave your comments below and just tell me whether you like it, whether you don't like it. I'm going to read every single one of them. But as for right now, that's going to be the stance that TTO is going to take for 2026. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at the championship.
Okay, guys, so there you have it. 5 bass before you can utilize your live sonar, forward-facing sonar, whatever you want to call it. And this will all be backed up by a polygraph test, but you must have 5 fish, 5 bass in your live well. So the past week or so, I've been following very closely to the reactions from various anglers. And I noticed a couple pros like Lee Levasseur, Todd Castledine chimed in. He had a video on it as well. They seem to like it. So it seems like the majority of the playing field, they're in agreement with it. And I think it's a good rule change. I mean, it's just like any other sport. You have to make adjustments. You got to see how things are going to play out. So we'll see how things play out in 2026 for TTO. Now, I mainly fish, well, you guys know that I mainly fish Texas Bass Nation trails, but I did do TTO for, I think, a year, maybe 2 years. I think I participated in TTO. And so I've seen both sides of it. And I did like fishing TTO. Personally, I'm glad to see these adjustments overall. It's going to keep it more competitive, making anglers who started out with fast forward-facing sonar, making them come back and, learn how to use some of the traditional tools and just understanding the way we had to all learn how to fish as well. So I'm on both sides. I mean, they're going to have to sharpen their skills in some other areas. So I'm all for it. The only question mark for me, and I think several other folks and some of my buddies that I've spoken to, is, how's that polygraph test going to look? I know he did a good job explaining what he's going to do, but, on tournament day, how is that going to really look? So we'll be keeping our eye out on that. So what does this mean for you? What does it mean for me? Well, I think anglers are going to have to really get good at using some of those legacy tools out there, like 2D Sonar, 360. I think those tools will dominate in the early part of these tournaments now. And that's what I'm most excited about, because I spent a lot of time personally trying to learn, these tools over the years before forward facing sonar. And I'm not saying that I was against it. I just took a little while before I bought, you know, my live forward facing sonar. So as you guys know, I do run Humminbird. I know he talked a lot about live scope, but it doesn't matter if you running Humminbird, Lowrance, or Gorman. Keep in mind, any of these tools are going to help you find structure. Structure such as brush piles, rocks, creek channels, whatever the case may be. And this will all be before you allow to use your live sonar, okay? And even during practice, he mentioned that you're going to be able to use your live sonar. So you can still find all these key structures during your practice run with live sonar. You can mark those waypoints. You can come back and see all of that same information, that same detail on your 2D scans and on your side imaging scans, down imaging scans, and so forth on your Mega 360 as well. So, and by the way, I'll show you how to use those tools. I think in my next video, I think I can show you how to use those tools effectively so you can be competitive as well at the early part of these tournaments, no matter what rule is enforced in any tournament. So if you guys want to learn how to capitalize on this new shift and make yourself more competitive, be sure to check out part 2 of this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Also, drop some comments. I'll be glad to respond. Until next time, tight lines.